Hello once again and welcome to Colganology. Now, we've had Storm Isha and we've had Storm Jocelyn, and we're now in a period of relative calm where the wind has dropped. We're having a little bit of rain but not too much, and the temperature is quite balmy. It's up around double figures, and yeah, making the most of it while it's like this and hoping the ground will dry out a little bit and the water will run away. But as always, I'm on the lookout for signs that spring is here. I've seen quite a few snowdrops now, which is always a lovely little sign of spring coming. And certainly every tree I pass is covered in buds, and they look as if they're just about to burst open. I do like the spring.
I like these strange horseshoe-shaped markings you find on horse chestnut trees. They're scars basically where the leaves have fallen off, but they reckon that's where the association with horses came from and why it's called a horse chestnut, and indeed its Latin name is Aesculus hippocastanum, and hippo of course means horse. There you go, learn something new every day.
See, now this is an oak, and you can tell it's an oak because it's got those little brown buds. Okay, so you've got little brown clusters of leaf buds with oak, but if you go over to an ash tree, you'll find that their buds are quite distinctive. I've got to find one where the buds are low enough so I can see them. There we go. See, now here, these are the buds of an ash tree, and as you can see, they're black. They look almost like horses' hooves or cows' hooves, and they're the only tree I can think of which has got black buds, black leaf buds. Look, there's more over here. Look, here and here. They're quite distinctive. If I can get the focus, quite distinctive, these black buds. So always easy to tell an ash tree from the buds. Of course, there's lots of other things to look for. You know, oak has a very distinctive sort of wrinkly bark, which is quite distinctive to look at, whereas if you take your average ash tree, as you can see, it's a fairly smooth bark tree, quite often mottled with lichen, almost like a camouflage pattern. Cherry is another tree that's generally pretty easy to identify because it always has these horizontal lines, these rings going around the trunk. As the tree gets older, you get these big splits that occur in it, but when they're young particularly, always look for these lines going up and down the trunk. Very distinctly cherry. I have to say, I didn't come out here today with the intention of doing an observer's guide to trees. It's just happened that way, but that's the nature of these rambling videos. You know, it's what occurs to me, it's what's in my head at the time. Well, that's it for today. The sun's dipping down towards the horizon, and the temperature's dropping slightly, and I've got to go and give a Burns night dinner speech, an after dinner speech I've been employed to do this evening, which is always good fun. Well, that was a lot of fun, and my speech went down quite well, which is always a nice thing. It's about the 4th or 5th time I've actually spoken at that particular Burns night for that particular Masonic lodge. I'm not part of the craft myself, but I'm delighted. It's nice that they invite me. They obviously like what I do, or I'm cheap enough. I have to say, today is the first day it's properly felt like spring. It's sunny, temperatures are up around just into the double figures. It's sort of 10, 11, and despite the slightly chilly wind, it feels really nice and spring-like. I had a meeting recently with the head of the trust that manages these 44 acres of land. We were talking about possible art projects or something we can be doing later on this year. And you know, I can't help but notice that as you walk along, there's so much art material here on the floor. I mean, every oak tree has a pile of dead twigs underneath it. All of those are usable. I actually created one of the figures from my May Parade project out of just fallen oak twigs recently. And there's a lot more materials over here that could be used without actually doing any damage to the environment at all. It's actually all just dead material that's lying around. So that might be something. There's also talk about maybe doing some sort of bird box project. They've got about 80 bird boxes and bat boxes based around these fields, and I think they want to do something that makes them a little bit more colourful, a bit more interesting. That again isn't in no way a detriment to the birds. If so, we're going to have to do that pretty quick because they're going to be nesting. So yeah, interesting. Things are afoot. I'm just waiting now. Harris found a nice little pile of fresh rabbit poo and he's really enjoying it, and I've called him twice and he hasn't come, so I've just hidden around this corner and we'll see how long it takes him to realise I'm out of sight, because then he'll have a little panic attack and he'll come running down here looking for me. What did I say? What did I say? Yeah, you should come when I call you, shouldn't you? You and your fat tummy. The snowdrops are now in bloom, and look, here's some early daffodils poking through. So there'll be a riot of yellow here fairly soon. And the first crocuses. This is three-cornered leek. I mean, you can see the kind of almost triangular stem to it, but when the stalks come up with the flowers on, they're completely triangular, and that's delicious. So until next time, thanks for joining me on this walk. It's always nice to have you on board. I know a lot of these walks are quite samey, but I like to think that at least you get to see a little bit of the world that I inhabit. And for those of you that can't get out and go for a walk in nice spaces for whatever reason, at least I can share it with you and you can come along for the walk. But in the meantime, look after yourselves, stay safe, and doodle pip.